My beloved child, pause your breath for a moment and listen, because this is not a random message finding you today. January 27 was marked long ago, etched in the unseen realms before you ever questioned your path. This day carries a weight, a turning point, a quiet but powerful shift that does not announce itself with noise, yet changes everything. Archangel Michael is stepping forward now, not to frighten you, but to awaken you. What unfolds next in your life depends entirely on your awareness in this very moment. Hear this clearly. This is not about chance, luck, or coincidence. There has been a spiritual alignment happening behind the scenes, even while you were distracted by routine, responsibility, or doubt. The reason this message feels urgent is because the window is real. Delay does not cancel destiny, but it can postpone comfort, clarity, and peace. That is why you were guided to open this immediately. Chosen one. Archangel Michael says the shift you are standing in front of is subtle but irreversible. It is like a door that has been unlocked quietly. If you walk through it consciously, your life reorganizes in your favor. If you ignore it, the door does not disappear, but these does. This is the part few people are ever told. Heaven responds to readiness, not desperation. Something in your life has felt off recently. Not wrong, just unsettled. You may have sensed restlessness in your spirit, vivid thoughts that come and go, or an inner pressure to pay attention. That is not anxiety. That is activation. Archangel Michael says January 27 carries the energy of separation. What no longer aligns begins to loosen its grip, and what belongs to you begins to draw closer. Understand this. The shift is not external first. It begins in how you see, how you choose, and how quickly you obey inner nudges. That is why awareness is the key mentioned in this message. The next chapter does not start with a dramatic event. It starts with a decision you make quietly, perhaps even today. Beloved, there is something you have been tolerating that you were never meant to carry this long. It could be a pattern, a relationship dynamic, a self-doubt loop, or a fear that keeps reappearing under different names. Archangel Michael says the authority to end it has already been placed in your hands. But authority unused feels like delay. That is why this moment matters. January 27 was marked as a recalibration point. The old way of forcing outcomes no longer works from this day forward. Struggle will not produce results the way it once did. Instead, clarity will. Alignment will. Courage will. This is why some doors you tried to push before never opened, because they were waiting for this version of you. Listen closely now. Archangel Michael says there is protection around you that you do not fully recognize yet. What did not work out was not rejection, it was redirection. What slowed down was not denial, it was preparation. And what begins to move after this point will move faster than you expect, but only if you stay awake to the signs. Do not rush past this part. The next few days carry subtle instructions. A conversation, a sudden thought, a repeated number, a feeling you cannot shake. These are not random. They are markers. When you respond instead of dismissing them, the shift accelerates. Heaven does not shout. It nudges. Chosen one, this message found you because you are trusted with timing. Many people pray for change but resist awareness. You are different. You are being asked to notice, to pause, to choose differently when the moment arrives. And it will arrive sooner than you think. Archangel Michael is also revealing this. There is a strength in you that has been sleeping because life demanded survival instead of vision. January 27 activates remembrance. You are not starting over. You are picking up where your spirit left off before disappointment tried to redefine you. Let this land gently. Nothing needs to be forced today, but nothing should be ignored to you. The shift does not require perfection. It requires presence. The more present you are now, the smoother what comes next will feel. One last thing before this moment passes. Archangel Michael says awareness is your shield right now. When you stay conscious, fear loses its voice. When you stay grounded, confusion cannot lead you. And when you stay open, guidance becomes undeniable. This is only the beginning of what is being revealed. The unfolding depends on how you receive this, not just with emotion, but with action. My precious one, as this message continues, Archangel Michael draws your attention deeper, not outward, but inward, because the real shift does not announce itself with chaos. It arrives with clarity. You may have noticed that certain thoughts have been returning to you lately, the same ideas circling back even when you try to push them away. That is not distraction. That is direction. January 27 unlocked a layer of perception where you are now able to see what was previously hidden beneath noise, fear, and habit. Archangel Michael says this is a day when spiritual fog lifts for those who are willing to look honestly at their lives. You are being invited to notice where your energy goes without return. Notice where you give effort but receive emptiness. Notice where your spirit feels heavy for no clear reason. These are not judgments. They are signals. Awareness is the invitation, and discernment is the reward. Beloved child, understand this clearly. Not everything that feels familiar is meant to stay. Some attachments form during seasons of survival, not seasons of purpose. And survival seasons end quietly. They do not announce their departure. That is why people miss the moment and remain stuck longer than necessary. Archangel Michael says you are being spared that delay. If you remain conscious now, there is a choice in front of you that may seem small on the surface. It may look like a conversation you keep avoiding, a habit you keep postponing changing, or a truth you keep softening so it does not disturb others. But heaven sees it as a hinge point. What you choose here determines the momentum of the next phase. That is why this message insists on awareness, not emotion. Listen carefully. The shift marked on January 27 does not force you forward. It removes resistance so that your own steps carry power again. That is why you may feel both excited and unsettled at the same time. Growth always feels like that when it is real. Comfort fades before clarity fully arrives. Archangel Michael stands beside you in this in-between space, reminding you that confusion is temporary, but obedience creates stability. You are not behind. You are not late. You are precisely at the moment where clarity becomes more valuable than speed. The old urge to rush, to prove, to over-explain, those impulses are being stripped away. From this point on, alignment will outperform effort. One aligned decision will do more than 10 forced actions ever could. Chosen one, there is also something else being revealed now. Some of the resistance you have faced was not external opposition. It was internal hesitation. You doubted whether you were allowed to want more peace, more truth, more ease. Archangel Michael says permission has already been granted. The only delay left was your agreement with limitation. That agreement expires now. Pay attention in the coming hours and days. What drains you will become obvious. What energizes you will feel undeniable. This contrast is intentional. It is a compass. When you follow it, the path simplifies. When you ignore it, life feels heavier than it needs to be. Heaven always communicates in patterns before it manifests in outcomes. This message is also arriving because you are not meant to walk this shift alone. There are others who need to hear what you are hearing, even if they do not yet have words for it. When truth resonates, it multiplies. That is why Archangel Michael urges you not to keep this awareness to yourself. When you acknowledge it openly, you anchor it more firmly in your own life. So take a moment now. If this message is stirring something in you, let it be known. Like this message as a signal that you are present. Share it with someone whose spirit you recognize in these words. Leave a comment, even a simple one, declaring that you are awake and ready. And if this space has been guiding you consistently, subscribe and stay connected, because what unfolds next builds on what you are receiving now. Do not underestimate how powerful small acts of alignment can be when done consciously. Before you move on, hear this gentle reminder from Archangel Michael. What comes next will make more sense if you stay with this unfolding. There is a clarity ahead that reframes everything you have questioned recently. Hold on to this awareness, because the next revelation connects directly to the choice you are standing in right now. Beloved one, let your spirit settle as this message deepens, because Archangel Michael is now addressing what had been forming beneath the surface of your life for longer than you realize. January 27 did not only mark a shift ahead of you, it exposed a truth within you. A truth that has waited patiently while you learned through repetition, endurance, and silence. Now that truth is rising, not to accuse you, but to free you. Archangel Michael says there has been a quiet battle between who you have been and who you are becoming. Not a battle of good versus bad, but of comfort versus calling. You learned how to survive in one season, and those survival instincts protected you then. But they are not meant to lead you now. What once kept you safe is now keeping you small. This is not condemnation. This is clarity. You may notice that tolerance has been draining you more than effort ever did. Tolerating situations that numb you. Tolerating conversations that chink you. Tolerating patterns that no longer reflect your growth. Archangel Michael says the exhaustion you feel is not from doing too much. It is from allowing too much that no longer belongs. Awareness brings responsibility, and responsibility brings power. Listen closely. The shift unfolding now is not about adding more to your life. It is about removing what blocks flow. Heaven is simplifying your path, not complicating it. That is why certain things are losing their emotional charge. What once triggered you may suddenly feel distant. What once confused you may suddenly feel obvious. This is not detachment. This is elevation. Chosen one, there is a strength returning to your voice. You may not hear it fully yet, but you will feel it in your decisions. You will say no without guilt. You will pause without panic. You will choose without over-explaining. Archangel Michael says this is the authority you prayed for, arriving quietly, without drama, but with permanence. There is also a warning wrapped in grace here. Do not rush to explain this shift to people who only knew the older version of you. Not everyone needs access to your becoming. Some connections will adjust naturally. Others will fade without conflict. Let it happen. Forcing understanding delays alignment. Silence, when guided, is wisdom. January 27 activated discernment. From this point forward, your intuition sharpens when you honor it. When something feels misaligned, it is. When something feels right but unfamiliar, it is likely your next step. Archangel Michael says trust does not grow from certainty, it grows from obedience after awareness. You are also being asked to forgive yourself. Not for failure, but for staying longer than necessary in places your spirit had already outgrown. Forgiveness releases energy. That energy is needed now. What comes next requires lightness, not regret. Beloved, there is a reason this message feels personal. Your life is about to reflect the inner shifts you are allowing. External change follows internal permission. When you stop resisting clarity, movement begins. And once it begins, it does not stop easily. Archangel Michael stands with his sword lowered now, not in battle, but in protection. You are not being pushed. You are being guarded while you step forward. Nothing meant for you will miss you. Nothing not meant for you can follow where you are going. Receive this final instruction gently. Stay present. Respond instead of reacting. Choose alignment over urgency. This is how the marked shift unfolds in your favor. Type "I am aware" and ready in the comments if this message resonates with your spirit. Lesson code 444 has just been released. And now hear this from the depth of this moment. As the shift opens, Archangel Michael says the light you are stepping into is not only for you. There are souls who will never hear this truth unless someone helps carry it forward. I am speaking to those who feel the fire of responsibility stirring inside them. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, linked in the description, you are sowing oil into a lamp that guides the lost, clarity into confusion, and timing into destiny. Heaven declares that every seed placed in this work returns multiplied, pressed down, and overflowing in your life. Do not hesitate. Respond now, because this act is not charity, it is obedience. My cherished one, as this message flows forward, Archangel Michael asks you to slow your inner world, because what is being revealed now requires stillness to fully receive. After awareness comes recalibration. This is the phase many people misunderstand. They think once clarity arrives, everything should immediately make sense. But heaven works differently. First, your perception shifts. Then your nervous system learns to trust that shift. Only after that does visible change follow. Archangel Michael says you may feel unusually reflective during this time. Memories may resurface, not to pull you backward, but to show you how far you have come. Moments that once felt painful may now feel distant. Situations that once defined you no longer carry the same weight. This is evidence that your identity is loosening from old narratives. You are no longer who you were when those chapters were written. Beloved, there is a sacred pause happening now. Not a delay, but a stabilization. Think of it as the ground settling before a new structure rises. If you rush this phase, you may feel unsteady later. But if you honor it, what comes next will feel solid, calm, and sustainable. Archangel Michael says patience here is not passive. It is an active form of trust. You may notice that your tolerance for noise has decreased. Loud opinions, chaotic environments, forced conversations, these may suddenly feel overwhelming. This is not weakness. It is refinement. Your spirit is becoming more sensitive to alignment. What does not match your frequency will feel intrusive. Let this guide you without guilt. There is also a recalibration happening in how you view time. You may feel less rushed, yet more intentional. Less busy, yet more effective. Archangel Michael says this is because you are stepping out of urgency and into purpose. Urgency drains. Purpose sustains. When you operate from purpose, even rest becomes productive. Listen carefully now. There is something you have been waiting for externally that you are meant to initiate internally. A feeling of permission. A sense of readiness. A quiet yes to yourself. Once that internal agreement is made, external movement follows quickly. Heaven mirrors inner decisions faster than you expect when resistance is removed. You are also being asked to release comparison. The pace of your life does not need to match anyone else's timeline. Some people bloom early. Others bloom deeply. Your journey is designed for depth. That is why it took time. Depth requires foundation. Archangel Michael says nothing about your path has been wasted. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself during this phase. Your inner dialogue is becoming a creative force. What you repeatedly affirm internally will soon seek expression externally. Replace self-criticism with observation. Replace judgment with curiosity. This is how you cooperate with the shift instead of fighting it. Beloved one, there may also be moments of loneliness that arise, not because you are alone, but because you are transitioning between frequencies. Old connections may no longer feel nourishing, while new ones have not fully appeared yet. This in-between can feel quiet. Do not fill it with distractions. Silence is where alignment finalizes. Archangel Michael reminds you that protection is strongest when you are honest with yourself. If something feels misaligned, you are allowed to acknowledge it without immediately fixing it. Awareness itself begins the correction. Pressure slows clarity. Compassion accelerates it. You are not meant to perform during this phase. You are meant to integrate. Integration is invisible work, but it determines the quality of what manifests later. Many people skip this step and wonder why their blessings feel unstable. You are being guided differently because you are being trusted with more. Let this truth settle now. The shift marked on January 27 is not a single moment. It is a doorway. Each conscious choice you make widens it. Each time you listen instead of rushing, it opens further. You are not late to your life. You are arriving fully. Archangel Michael stands quietly beside you, not instructing now, but observing with approval. You are doing this correctly. Even if it feels unfamiliar, even if it feels slow, it is right. Breathe into that knowing. What comes next will build on this foundation, and it will make sense why this stillness was necessary. Beloved soul, as this unfolding continues, Archangel Michael now brings your awareness to movement. Not outward movement yet, but internal alignment that begins to translate into action. This is the stage where many people feel a subtle pressure, as if something is asking to be expressed but has not yet found its form. Do not misread this sensation. It is not impatience. It is readiness preparing itself. You may notice that certain desires are becoming clearer, sharper, and less negotiable. What once felt optional now feels essential. What once felt like a dream now feels like a responsibility to your own spirit. Archangel Michael says this is the moment where truth stops asking for permission. It simply asks for cooperation. There is also a refinement happening in how you respond to uncertainty. Where you once needed guarantees, you may now feel more comfortable moving with incomplete information. This is not recklessness. This is trust maturing. Faith is not the absence of questions. It is the decision to move without demanding every answer upfront. Beloved, something is shifting in how you value your time. Wasted moments now feel heavier than hard work ever did. You are becoming selective, not out of pride, but out of respect for your own energy. Archangel Michael says this discernment is essential, because what you are stepping into requires focus, not fragmentation. Pay attention to impulses that come from calm clarity rather than emotional spikes. Those calm nudges are guidance. They may not feel dramatic, but they are accurate. Allah often comes from fear. Guidance comes from steadiness. Learn to tell the difference, and your path will simplify quickly. You are also learning the difference between effort and force. Effort flows. Force strains. When something requires constant pushing, defending, or convincing, it is not aligned. Archangel Michael says alignment feels like cooperation with life rather than resistance against it. From this point forward, you are being guided to choose ease without guilt. There may be moments when old fears attempt to resurface, reminding you of past disappointments or unfinished stories. Do not engage them as threats. See them as echoes losing volume. They return briefly to test whether they still have authority. They do not. Awareness has already changed the hierarchy within you. Beloved one, there is a quiet courage growing in you. It does not need applause. It does not announce itself. But it shows up when decisions need to be made without external validation. This courage is what carries the shift forward. Without it, awareness remains theoretical. With it, awareness becomes life-changing. Archangel Michael also brings this reminder: not every opportunity is meant to be seized immediately. Some are meant to be observed first. Discernment does not rush. It watches patterns, not promises. What is meant for you will be consistent, not confusing. Let consistency guide you now. You may feel drawn to simplify your environment, your schedule, or even your inner commitments. This is not avoidance. It is preparation. When the unnecessary is removed, the necessary gains strength. Heaven often clears space before it fills it. There is also a healing happening around self-trust. You are beginning to believe your own perceptions again. Doubt once came from being told you were too much, too sensitive, or too slow. Archangel Michael says those voices do not get to define you anymore. Your sensitivity is perception. Your slowness was integration. Your depth was always a gift. As this phase unfolds, you may notice synchronicities increasing, repeated themes, timely messages, unexpected confirmations. These are not meant to impress you. They are meant to reassure you. You are not imagining this shift. You are participating in it. Beloved, remember this. You do not need to announce your growth to validate it. Growth reveals itself through calm decisions, clear boundaries, and consistent peace. Let your life speak quietly. Those who are meant to hear it will recognize the tone. Archangel Michael says the ground beneath you is stable now. You can step forward without fear of collapse. What you are building next will not require constant repair, because it is being built from alignment, not urgency. Hold this knowing gently. The next phase will invite you to act more visibly, but for now, this inner strengthening is enough. You are exactly where you need to be, and what is unfolding is responding to your readiness with precision. Beloved child, as this message advances, Archangel Michael now turns your attention to integration through action, because awareness that is not grounded eventually fades. This is the phase where your inner shifts begin asking to be honored outwardly. Not dramatically, not impulsively, but deliberately. You are being invited to live what you now know, even in small, quiet ways. You may feel a growing discomfort with pretending that certain situations are fine when they are not. Pretending that certain roles still fit when they feel tight. This discomfort is not rebellion. It is integrity awakening. Archangel Michael says integrity is alignment made visible. When you live in integrity, your energy stops leaking, and your life begins to respond more quickly. There's a strengthening of your boundaries happening now. Not walls, but clarity. You are learning where you end and others begin. This clarity may surprise people who benefited from your silence or overgiving. Let them be surprised. You are not responsible for managing reactions that arise when you choose honesty. Beloved, this is also a season of discerned movement. Not everything needs a response. Not every invitation requires acceptance. Not every emotion requires expression. Wisdom knows when to act and when to observe. Archangel Michael says restraint is a form of strength that matures only after awareness. You may notice that your tolerance for self-betrayal is gone. The inner tension you used to ignore now speaks louder. This is not to torment you. It is to protect you. Discomfort is now functioning as guidance, steering you back into alignment when you drift. There is also a recalibration in how you measure success. External validation is losing its grip. Inner peace is gaining authority. You are beginning to ask different questions. Does this feel true? Does this sustain me? Does this align with who I am becoming? These questions will guide you more accurately than ambition ever did. Archangel Michael reminds you that growth is not linear. Some days you will feel clear and strong. Other days you may feel uncertain again. Do not mistake fluctuation for failure. Integration happens in waves. Each wave settles deeper than the last. Pay attention to how your body responds to choices now. Ease signals alignment. Tightness signals misalignment. Your intuition speaks through sensation as much as thought. Trust what your body confirms quietly. Beloved one, there is also a call to participate consciously in this unfolding with others. When you acknowledge this message publicly, you anchor it privately. When you engage, you reinforce your own awareness. That is why it matters to like this message if it resonates, to share it with someone who may need this clarity, and to leave a comment affirming what you are stepping into. These are not empty actions. They are declarations. If this space has been walking with you through this shift, subscribe and remain connected. What is being revealed now is part of a larger unfolding, and consistency deepens understanding. When you stay present, the guidance sharpens. Archangel Michael also encourages you to honor your pace. You do not need to explain why you are moving differently now. Alignment does not require justification. Those who are meant to walk with you will adjust naturally. Those who are not will fade without conflict. There is a quiet confidence forming in you. It does not need to convince. It does not need to dominate. It simply stands firm. This confidence comes from self-trust returning to its rightful place. You are no longer outsourcing your decisions to fear or approval. Beloved, remember this as you move forward. You are not losing anything real. What falls away was sustained by effort, not truth. What remains will feel lighter, steadier, and more nourishing. Archangel Michael says this is how you recognize what is meant to stay. Before this message continues, hold on to this awareness. What unfolds next will connect directly to how you handle this phase of grounded action. There is a deeper revelation ahead that reframes why this preparation was necessary. Stay with this unfolding. It is about to make even more sense. Beloved one, as this message carries you further, Archangel Michael now speaks into the quiet confidence that has been forming within you, because this phase is about embodiment. Not learning something new, but becoming what you already know. Awareness has been planted. Integration has begun. Now comes the moment where your presence itself starts to shift situations without effort. You may notice that people respond to you differently now. Some may listen more closely. Others may feel unsettled without knowing why. This is not because you have changed your personality, but because your energy is no longer negotiating for approval. Archangel Michael says, when you stop seeking permission to be yourself, your presence becomes grounded, and grounded presence carries authority. There is also a deepening of discernment taking place. You are no longer fooled by appearances alone. Words without consistency stand out immediately. Promises without follow-through lose their shine. You are seeing patterns instead of isolated moments. This is wisdom settling in, and it protects you from repeating cycles that once strained you. Beloved, this stage may feel surprisingly calm compared to earlier shifts. Do not mistake calm for stagnation. Calm is what happens when internal conflict resolves. You are no longer fighting yourself. When inner alignment is achieved, outer movement becomes smoother and more precise. Archangel Michael says this is also a season where your silence becomes powerful. You do not need to respond to everything. You do not need to explain your boundaries repeatedly. Your consistency will speak for you. Silence, when chosen consciously, is not avoidance. It is mastery. You may feel less interested in proving your worth and more interested in protecting your peace. This is a sign of maturity, not disengagement. When peace becomes a priority, life reorganizes around it. Chaos no longer finds easy access. Drama no longer holds appeal. You are choosing stability over stimulation. Beloved one, there is also a refinement happening in how you relate to your past. You are no longer defined by it, nor are you at war with it. You can acknowledge what happened without reliving it. This neutrality is healing. Archangel Michael says when the past loses emotional charge, it releases its grip on your future. Pay attention now to opportunities that feel aligned but require patience. These are invitations that grow slowly and sustainably. Do not overlook them in favor of fast-moving options that demand urgency. What is meant for you will respect your pace. Rushing is no longer a sign of opportunity. It is a sign of misalignment. You are also learning to trust timing again. Delays no longer feel like punishment. They feel like refinement. You understand now that arriving too early can be just as harmful as arriving too late. Archangel Michael says divine timing is not about waiting. It is about readiness meeting opportunity at the right moment. There may be moments when you feel slightly detached from environments that once felt familiar. This is not disconnection. It is repositioning. You are standing at a different vantage point now. From here, you can see more clearly what fits and what does not. Let this clarity guide you gently. Beloved, this is also a season of energetic honesty. Your body, your emotions, and your intuition are aligning. When something is off, you notice quickly. When something is right, it settles deeply. Trust these signals. They are reliable now because they are no longer filtered through fear. Archangel Michael reminds you that you are not meant to carry everything alone. Even strength needs support. But support does not always look like help from others. Sometimes it looks like allowing rest without guilt. Sometimes it looks like saying no without explanation. Sometimes it looks like choosing simplicity over excess. There is a quiet joy beginning to surface. Not excitement that depends on event, but contentment that comes from alignment. This joy does not fluctuate wildly. It remains steady, even when circumstances shift. This is the joy of knowing you are walking in truth. Beloved one, let this truth anchor you now. You are no longer searching for direction. You are walking in it. Each step you take from this place reinforces the path beneath you. What once felt uncertain now feels intentional. Archangel Michael stands watchfully as you move forward, not intervening, because you no longer need rescue. You have clarity. You have discernment. You have authority rooted in self-trust. This is what preparation was for. Remain present. What unfolds next will build on this stability, and it will invite you into a deeper understanding of why this shift had to happen exactly as it did. My beloved one, as this message deepens further, Archangel Michael now draws your attention to consolidation, because what has been forming within you is ready to be sealed. This is the phase where shifts become permanent, not because circumstances change overnight, but because you do. And once you change at the core, life must eventually rearrange to match you. There is a sense now that you are no longer questioning yourself the way you once did. Doubt may still whisper occasionally, but it no longer controls the conversation. You are not arguing with your intuition anymore. You are listening. Archangel Michael says this is the moment when inner authority stabilizes. When that happens, external chaos loses its power to derail you. You may feel an unusual clarity about what you will no longer tolerate. This clarity does not feel angry or defensive. It feels calm, vital, and clean. When something crosses a boundary now, you recognize it instantly. You do not spiral. You simply step back. This is not withdrawal. This is self-respect integrated into action. Beloved, this is also a moment where patience is rewarded. Not patience that waits passively, but patience that trusts process. You are beginning to see why certain things could not happen earlier. You understand now that timing protected you from outcomes you were not ready to sustain. Archangel Michael says delayed blessings are often fortified blessings. There is a quiet empowerment happening in your choices. You no longer feel the need to explain every decision. Your yes is cleaner. Your no is steadier. This does not make you distant. It makes you clear. And clarity builds trust, with yourself first, and then with others. You may notice that your prayers are changing. You are no longer asking for escape. You are asking for alignment. You are no longer pleading for signs. You are recognizing them. This is maturity of faith. It does not need constant reassurance. It moves with confidence rooted in experience. Archangel Michael says this is also a time when your discernment protects not only you, but others connected to you. When you choose wisely, ripple effects follow. Your calm becomes a refuge. Your clarity becomes guidance. This is influence without force. Beloved one, there is a sacred responsibility that comes with awareness. Not pressure, but stewardship. You are being trusted to act from truth rather than fear. This trust is why your intuition feels sharper now. Heaven sharpens the tools it intends to use for good. Pay attention to moments when you feel deeply present. Not distracted. Not rushing. Fully here. Those moments are alignment points. Life flows most naturally through you when you are present. That is where insight arrives. That is where peace settles. You may also feel called to release an old identity you once clung to for safety. The one who endured quietly. The one who adapted endlessly. That version of you carried you through necessary seasons, but it is no longer meant to lead. Thank it, and let it rest. Archangel Michael says honoring the past does not require living there. There is a new steadiness in how you relate to uncertainty. You no longer panic when things are undefined. You allow space for clarity to emerge. This patience does not weaken outcomes. It strengthens them. What forms slowly now will last longer than what rushes in fear. Beloved, let this truth anchor deeply. You are not waiting for your life to begin. It already has. You are simply living it with awareness now. That awareness is the shift January 27 marked long ago. Type "I step into alignment" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 818 has just been released. And now, receive this word flowing naturally from this moment. Archangel Michael says there are lives being reached because this message continues to go out. When you activate Super Thanks, step into membership, or give through PayPal using the link in the description, you are not funding content. you are releasing light. Scripture declares that when you sow generously, the harvest overtakes you, pressed down and overflowing. I am speaking directly to those whose spirit feels stirred right now. Obey this nudge. Let your giving become a prophetic act that opens doors, restores strength, and multiplies peace in your own life. Act now, because this seed is marked, and heaven responds swiftly to obedience. Beloved one, as this message carries on, Archangel Michael now speaks to stabilization, because after consolidation comes grounding. This is where what you have received settles into daily life, not as inspiration, but as structure. Many people receive insight, but few allow it to reshape how they live. You are being guided to do more than understand. You are being guided to embody consistency. You may notice that your days feel quieter internally, even if life around you remains active. This quiet is not emptiness. It is coherence. Your thoughts are no longer pulling in opposite directions. Your emotions are no longer arguing with your intuition. When inner alignment stabilizes, mental noise fades. Archangel Michael says peace is not the absence of challenges, it is the absence of inner resistance. This is also a phase where your habits begin to matter more than your intentions. What you repeatedly choose now will reinforce the path ahead. Small decisions carry greater weight because they compound quickly. Alignment is no longer fragile, it is responsive. Each aligned action strengthens the next one. Beloved, there may be moments when you realize how differently you respond to situations that once triggered you. Where you once reacted, you now pause. Where you once over-explained, you now stay silent. Where you once chased resolution, you now allow space. This is not detachment. It is regulation. Archangel Michael says regulated energy creates sustainable outcomes. You are also becoming more aware of your capacity. You know when to engage and when to rest. You no longer confuse exhaustion with dedication. You no longer equate overgiving with love. This discernment protects you from burnout and resentment. What you give now comes from overflow, not obligation. There is a strengthening of trust in yourself that cannot be shaken easily. Even when uncertainty arises, you do not abandon yourself. You stay present. You listen. You adjust without panic. This self-trust is what allows guidance to flow uninterrupted. Heaven speaks more clearly to those who do not override their own knowing. Beloved one, you may notice that certain ambitions are changing shape. Goals once driven by validation are being replaced by goals driven by meaning. You are less interested in impressing and more interested in aligning. Archangel Michael says this shift ensures that what you build next will nourish you, not drain you. Pay attention to how you manage your energy and conversations. You are no longer required to carry emotional weight that does not belong to you. Compassion does not mean absorption. You can care without carrying. This boundary will preserve your clarity as your influence grows. This is also a phase where delayed understanding arrives. Things that confused you months or years ago suddenly make sense. You see why certain doors closed. You see why certain paths dissolved. This understanding is not meant to reopen old wounds. It is meant to close them properly. Beloved, the shift marked on January 27 continues to ripple outward. You may not see dramatic changes yet, but you will feel increased steadiness. This steadiness is the platform for what is coming. Without it, blessings feel unstable. With it, growth feels natural. Archangel Michael reminds you that simplicity is now a strength. You do not need complexity to feel important. You do not need struggle to feel worthy. Ease is not laziness when it comes from alignment. Ease is efficiency of the spirit. There may be moments when old voices, internal or external, question your new way of moving. They may call it caution distant with change. Do not internalize this. Growth always looks unfamiliar to those who expect you to remain predictable. You are not required to stay understandable to remain aligned. Beloved one, you are also learning how to wait without anxiety. Waiting no longer feels like stagnation. It feels like positioning. You trust that when movement is required, you will feel it clearly. This trust removes the urge to force outcomes prematurely. Let this truth settle now. You are not in transition anymore. You are in establishment. What you are practicing now will define the quality of what unfolds later. Stay gentle with yourself. Stay consistent. Stay present. Archangel Michael stands firm beside you, not to correct, but to confirm. You are moving wisely. You are choosing well. And what is being prepared ahead will meet you where you are, not where you used to be. Remain steady. One final layer of understanding is approaching, and it will tie everything together with clarity and purpose. Beloved child, as this message continues, Archangel Michael now turns your attention to conscious choice, because this phase is where awareness becomes destiny through repetition. What you do consistently now carries more power than what you do occasionally with intensity. You are standing in a season where small, aligned decisions compound rapidly, shaping the direction of your life with quiet precision. You may feel an increased sense of responsibility for your inner state, not burdened but ownership. You are no longer blaming circumstances for how you feel. You are noticing how quickly peace returns when you choose clarity over reaction. Archangel Michael says this is mastery forming. When you realize you have authority over your responses, life stops feeling unpredictable. There is also a refinement happening in how you use your words. You are becoming more intentional with what you speak, because you see now how language shapes experience. Complaints drain energy. Declarations anchor reality. Silence preserves strength. You are learning when each is appropriate, and that discernment is changing outcomes faster than effort ever did. Beloved, this stage may challenge you to remain consistent even when no immediate results appear. This is where many people abandon alignment prematurely. But Archangel Michael reminds you that roots grow in darkness before fruit appears in light. What you are practicing now is stabilizing what will soon manifest visibly. You may notice moments when impatience tries to return, urging you to rush or revert to old patterns of control. Do not judge this. Simply observe it. Impatience is not failure. It is habit losing influence. Each time you choose steadiness instead, you weaken its hold. There is a strengthening of your ability to focus. Distractions no longer pull you as easily. You can sit with a thought longer. You can stay present in a moment without reaching for escape. This focus is not forced. It is the natural result of inner alignment, reducing noise. Archangel Michael says this is also a time to honor commitment. Not commitment to others at the expense of yourself, but commitment to your own truth. When you commit to living in alignment, you stop negotiating with fear. You stop postponing peace. You stop waiting for permission. Beloved one, your influence is stabilizing. Even if you do not see it yet, others are noticing the calm in how you move, the certainty in your boundaries, the absence of drama. This presence speaks louder than explanation. This is leadership without ego. You are also learning how to recover quickly. When something throws you off balance, you return to center faster. You do not spiral for days. You do not question everything. You recalibrate and continue. Archangel Michael says resilience is not about never falling. It is about remembering who you are when you do. There's a call now to actively engage with what is supporting this shift. When you interact with this message, when you affirm it publicly, when you stay connected to guidance that resonates, you reinforce your own alignment. That is why it matters to like this message if it reflects your journey, to share it with someone who may be standing at a similar threshold, and to leave a comment declaring your readiness. These actions are not small. They anchor intention into form. If this space has been walking with you through clarity, discernment, and peace, subscribe and remain present. Consistency strengthens understanding. When you stay connected, the guidance meets you exactly where you are, each time. Archangel Michael also reminds you that not every season requires visibility. Some seasons require depth. You are allowed to grow quietly. You are allowed to protect what is forming. Not everything sacred needs an audience. Beloved, this phase is teaching you how to trust process without constant reassurance. You no longer need signs at every step. You recognize alignment by how it feels, steady, clear, and grounded. This recognition frees you from dependency on external confirmation. Before this message moves forward, hold this awareness gently. What comes next will bring resolution to lingering questions and reveal why this preparation was essential. Stay with this unfolding. You will want to experience how it all connects. Beloved one, as this message approaches its final unfoldings, Archangel Michael now speaks into resolution, because what hath been forming across these moments is ready to be understood as a whole. This is where the scattered pieces align, where the reason behind the timing becomes clear, and where you finally see that nothing was random, delayed, or wasted. You may suddenly recognize how each phase you walked through prepared you for this steadiness. The confusion taught you discernment. The waiting taught you patience. The disappointment taught you boundaries. The silence taught you self-trust. Archangel Michael says wisdom is rarely received all at once. It is assembled through lived experience. And now, you are standing in the clarity those experiences were shaping. There is a deep grounding happening in your sense of identity. You are no longer defining yourself by what you lack, what went wrong, or what has yet to happen. You are defining yourself by alignment, by presence, by truth. This shift in identity is subtle but powerful, because life responds to who you believe you are more than what you desire. Beloved, you may notice that fear has lost its urgency. It may still appear occasionally, but it no longer dictates your decisions. You listen, assess, and then choose from clarity instead of reaction. Archangel Michael says fear was once a teacher, but it is no longer a leader. Its role has ended. You are also becoming more honest with yourself about what fulfillment truly means. It is no longer about accumulation, recognition, or speed. It is about coherence. Your thoughts, emotions, actions, and values moving in the same direction. When coherence is achieved and peace becomes sustainable, there is a quiet readiness now for what comes next. Not eagerness that rushes ahead, but readiness that stands prepared. You are no longer asking when your life will change. You recognize that it already has. What remains is expression, not transformation. Archangel Michael reminds you that the external manifestations you once waited for often arrive after internal stability is secured. This protects you. Without stability, blessings become burdens. With stability, blessings become tools. You are now equipped to carry what is meant for you without losing yourself. You may also feel a renewed sense of compassion for yourself and for others. Not the kind that rescues or overextends, but the kind that understands. You see people more clearly now. You recognize where they are acting from fear, from habit, from unhealed places. This understanding allows you to respond wisely instead of reactively. Beloved one, this phase invites you to release the last remnants of self-doubt. Doubt no longer serves as protection. It only delays expression. You have gathered enough evidence through experience to trust yourself now. Archangel Michael says self-trust is the foundation upon which all divine guidance rests. There may be moments when you look back and feel gratitude for paths that did not work out. This gratitude is genuine, not forced. You see now that those paths would have required you to shrink, compromise, or rush. What lies ahead will not ask you to abandon yourself to belong. You are also learning to live without constantly anticipating the next problem. Peace no longer feels temporary. It feels available. This does not mean challenges will never arise. It means challenges will not destabilize you the way they once did. Archangel Michael says this is the fruit of awareness sustained over time. Many awaken briefly. Few remain conscious long enough for awareness to become structure. You have done that work. Quietly. Consistently. Without spectacle. And heaven has taken note. Beloved, let this truth anchor deeply now. You are no longer becoming. You are being. Being present. Being aligned. Being steady. From this state, action flows naturally. Creativity returns without pressure. Relationships adjust without force. Opportunities align without manipulation. As this message nears its completion, allow yourself to rest in this knowing. Nothing needs to be chased. Nothing needs to be proven. What is meant to arrive will recognize you by your steadiness, not your striving. Archangel Michael stands with calm assurance, confirming what you already sense. You are ready. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are grounded. And from groundedness, life unfolds with clarity and purpose. One final unveiling remains. It will seal this message with understanding, blessing, and direction. Stay present. The completion carries weight and peace. My beloved child, as this message reaches its completion, Archangel Michael asks you to receive this final unfolding not with urgency, but with reverence. What has been revealed to you across this journey was not meant to overwhelm you. It was meant to settle you. January 27 was marked long ago not as a dramatic interruption, but as a divine recalibration point where your life quietly realigned with truth. You now understand something you did not before. The shift was never about changing who you are. It was about removing what was never truly you. The pressure you once felt to become something else has dissolved. In its place stands a calm recognition of your own authority. You no longer need to chase certainty. You carry it. Archangel Michael says this is the moment when awareness completes its cycle by becoming wisdom. Awareness notices. Wisdom applies. You are no longer just seeing clearly, you are living clearly. And when clarity becomes lifestyle, destiny stops feeling distant. Beloved, reflect for a moment on how differently you hold yourself now. The tension that once lived in your body has softened. The constant questioning has quieted. You move with intention instead of anticipation. This is not because life suddenly became easy. It is because you became anchored. There is a sacred maturity in you now. You know when to act and when to wait. When to speak and when to remain silent. When to hold and when to release. Archangel Michael says this discernment is the mark of someone who has crossed an inner threshold. You are no longer easily pulled off center. This final phase is about embodiment of peace. Peace that does not depend on circumstances. Peace that does not disappear when things are undefined. Peace that remains even when answers are still forming. His peace is not passive. He is powerful. From it, the right actions emerge naturally. Beloved one, there is nothing left for you to prove. Life will respond to your steadiness in ways words cannot fully describe. Doors will open without force. Conversations will resolve without manipulation. Opportunities will align without strain. This is what happens when you move in harmony instead of resistance. Archangel Michael reminds you that the future is not something you must fear or control. It is something that recognizes you when you are aligned. What is meant for you will not require you to abandon your peace to receive it. It will meet you where you are grounded. You may still encounter moments of uncertainty, but they will no longer feel threatening. You will meet them with curiosity instead of panic, with patience instead of urgency, with trust instead of doubt. This is the fruit of awareness honored over time. Beloved, remember this truth as you step forward. Your life does not need dramatic change to reflect divine movement. Total alignment creates lasting transformation. The shift that began quietly will continue steadily, shaping your days with clarity and purpose. Archangel Michael stands now not as a messenger, but as a witness. Witness to your readiness. Witness to your growth. Witness to your calm authority. You are protected, guided, and supported, not because you are perfect, but because you are present. Let this message seal gently within you. Carry it not as a memory, but as a way of being. Awareness has done its work. Now life unfolds from it. Type "I walk in divine alignment" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1212 is now activated. And now hear this final word that flows naturally from this moment. Archangel Michael speaks to those whose hearts feel stirred to act. This message did not reach souls by accident. It was carried by obedience. When you release super thanks, step into membership, or give through PayPal using the link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are fueling a divine assignment. The word declares that those who sow into living ground will reap in due season without delay. I speak blessing over every giver now. May your obedience open doors, restore peace, and multiply provision. Do not hesitate. Respond now. This is not a suggestion. This is your moment to act.